speaking of weird, um, I thought this was I thought this was just a meme for the longest time. Every time I went onto like a Kingdom Hearts video, there would be someone being like, "Hey, I can't wait for the PC version of Kingdom Hearts. The PC version of Kingdom Hearts will be so amazing." And I've heard this for years, but apparently there's now a PC version of Kingdom Hearts. You can get it on the Epic Games Store, and it's not just like, oh, you can get Kingdom Hearts 3. No, 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 no. You can get the entire franchise. Here we go. For way too much money. So we have 1.5, 2.5, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, Kingdom Hearts 3 plus the Remind DLC, and then Melody of Memories. And in Australia, this is going to cost you about $300. Now, this is a lot of games, which is fine, but these games and these games you can pick up on console because both of these have I shown it before? You can get all of this in one disc and you can pick it up for like $20. I get that there's development that goes into the PC release, but I don't really think that it makes sense to be charging $75 Australian, $90 Australian for a bunch of HD remakes. A bunch of HD remakes that remakes that aren't even new remakes. They've been out for, I think 1.5. When did 1.5 come out? Because I remember buying I remember pre-ordering that. Kingdom Hearts 1.5. 1.5 remix. This initially came out on the PlayStation 3 back in 2013, and then on the PS4 in 2017. So, let's just say for previous gen consoles, it's been out for at least 4 years. And it comes to PC, and then you're charging full retail price for it. That's a little bit crazy. I don't think you can really justify that pricing. Sure, if you want to charge, $90 Australian for Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind, that's fine. That's the newest game of the series. Same with Melody of Memories. I know there's people being like, oh, but you can pick up Melody of Memories way cheaper on console. This is the newest game in the franchise, though, even though it's not the newest, mainline game. It is the newest game in the franchise. That's fine. This, not so much. I also hear that it heavily uses Denuvo, so I don't know if anyone's tried to run it on Linux, but it probably won't work. Kingdom Hearts PC Linux. Let's see if anyone's done it. I checked a couple of days ago. Doesn't seem like anyone's tried it yet. PC version is semi-decent port. I hear the PC port's actually pretty good. Yeah, I don't see anyone trying to do it on Linux at this point, but the fact that it uses Denuvo indicates to me that, someone's tried to run it in Lutris. Oh no, this is a PCSX version, that's fine. Well, PCSX obviously will run just fine, but there's PS2 PCSX not available on Linux? Surely it is. I know there are PS2 emulators on Linux, but surely PCSX is. Yeah, there is. Okay, why would you try to run it through Lutris then? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I don't know why you would do that. Let's see. Yeah. I know there's probably going to be people who end up cracking the game and it will run through Lutris or something, but I don't think the version from the Epic Games Store will, which is sad. Because I would have loved to. Honestly, even though it's really expensive, I probably would have rebought it because I bought I bought this remake when I already owned the previous remake, and I owned all of the games back on PS2. So I've bought the Kingdom Hearts franchise enough times at this point that I don't really mind spending more on it. Basically, I'm just donating to Square Enix at this point. I don't care about owning the games. I've owned the games enough time. I've played them enough times. I've probably played through Kingdom Hearts 1 a good 20 or 30 times at least. Maybe even more than that. So that doesn't really phase me. But I want more Kingdom Hearts. I don't think my money is going to really be the deciding factor, but even so, I think Square does deserve more money for the amazing franchise they've made, even though the franchise is absolute nonsense. Now, the other thing with the PC version is even though it's encrypted to all hell, there is already some modding for it. Let's see, KH3 PC mods, which is actually crazy, but isn't as crazy as I had as I really thought, because there were already people modding the console version. So there were people actually importing maps into the console version of Kingdom Hearts 3. Obviously, you would have to have like a modded console, but even so, here we go. Like this is, what is this one? This is the system sector in KH3. The system sector from Melody of Memories, I guess, not but System Sector is also it's a remake of a Chain of Memories one. And here's one. Here is the Jungle Book from Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Or you have Wonderland from Recoded, which is, God, that's so crazy that you can actually do that. It's absolutely crazy. But now that the PC version is out, oh, the modding gets even easier, because now you don't even need a modded console. Now you can do things like have a trainer, or you can have a mod menu. Sorry, yeah, mod menu is basically what you'd call it. So there's this menu called the C mod menu, which, God, I don't want Optus, stop trying to get ads. So it's not set up the best way, basically because the modders aren't really sure how to get stuff working at this point. So they've actually attached it to an ability. So when you go and use the ability, it basically brings up a menu that's going to show up in just a second. There we go. And you can use this to like spawn party members and change to different characters, because the one thing that KH3 does have, which is really cool, is that unlike the earlier ones where you could be like, you could trick the game into making you play as Riku or something like that. In this version, Roxas and Kairi and Riku and Mickey are all fully playable characters. Obviously, they're not intended to be used for most of the game, so like Roxas, you can't use the wall running, for example, but in combat, he's a fully playable character. It's not going to T-pose at some point or anything like that. It's just going to work perfectly fine. But I presume at some point there's just going to be a hotkey to bring up this menu. It's just that the devs making the plugin at this point don't really have anything else to really bind it to. So they sort of just found a function to bind it to and then go from there. I've also seen some model swaps, which is a fairly common early mod to see. Swapping out the Ultima weapon for the Keyblade, the greatest of all the weapons. Also for Yuzora's weapon. I know so much about KH3, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers. Like, I still haven't played the game. But yeah, here we go. Here's one thing you can do. You can just spawn a bunch of party members, and it just works fine. They just all... Okay, except those ones you don't want to follow. Most of them just play along fine. Even the game is not intended to have this many party members. Also, Woody is... Can we get a close-up of Woody near the camera? So this actually gives me a bit of an indication of how they actually made the toy world. Here we go. Here's Sora. Here's Woody. Woody would be probably like 7.5, 8 feet tall. So the way they actually got that world to work, basically what they would have done is rather than making the character model smaller, which would have broken physics, they just made everything bigger. So it gives you the illusion that you're very small, whereas in reality, to make the game far easier to actually manage, it's not actually the case at all. But he is still taller than he should be. Like, I don't think Woody is supposed to be like 3 feet taller than Buzz, but that's what the mod sort of does. So maybe they are messing with the sizing a bit when you go to the world, but they're definitely not messing with it as much as they could be. And here we go. Here's Roxas with 2 Keyblades, who's also going to be perfectly playable as well. Did he show swapping characters? Oh, this mod menu also comes with multiplayer as well, because why not? Why not also have multiplayer? Here we go. Here's Riku being playable. But yeah, Riku is just normally playable during a certain section of the game anyway. So basically, it's just taking that playable Roxas and then just, you know, letting you play as Roxas out of that scene. Which, honestly, it seems like a massive waste that the game didn't do that. Like, there have been earlier, I think, 365 lets you play through all of the missions as any of the characters. You can play as Sora, you can play as, I think Riku's in that game. No, Riku's not. You can play as Sora, Donald, and Goofy, and you can play as the organization members. But the fact that they fully modeled these characters, gave them fully working attack sets, but didn't let you go and play through the entire game with them is so sad to me. Also, you can just spawn bosses, and the game just handles it fine. It doesn't care. But I wish, hopefully mods do fix this and just add the things that are missing, like wall running and the reaction commands that don't work, and then just make it so you could play through the entire game as Roxas, or as Kairi, or as Mickey, or... I think that'd be fun. Or actually, or play as like Shion. Even though Shion's... Actually, I don't know how Shion's moveset is handled in this game. I know the game sort of bullshits characters coming back in Remind, because it's Kingdom Hearts and they can just do whatever they want. The game already doesn't make sense, so you just make shit up as you go. It's fine. But in 365, Shion basically played as Roxas, so I hope they've made her own character here. Otherwise, you know, it'd be a bit boring. But Roxas does have 2 Keyblades, so obviously their moveset's going to be different. I know Kairi... Actually, playing through the game with Kairi would be hilarious, because Kairi's moveset is completely broken. Kairi gameplay. Because, here we go. This is during Remind. I don't want to see cutscenes. Nope, not my plan. Kairi, in her attack set, actually has a teleport. You might have seen that there, actually. So, when she's far away from an enemy, she will just jump to them, which, as you may expect, yeah, would probably break the combat system. Because, there we go. She's not going to teleport yet. She's over here. I think you have to be actually locked on for it to work. But, even so, it... I can only imagine how much this would break the game. Even so, though, it would just be fun. The fact that you have these fully playable characters and you don't let the player actually take advantage of it really saddens me. Like, it's a problem that I sort of had in the earlier Kingdom Hearts games as well, where you had Donald and Goofy in your party, and they look like they're playable, but there's no way to actually play them. I don't know. Maybe mods will fix this. Maybe they'll eventually do it in like another Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 4, whatever that ends up being. Hopefully not more Xehanauts, but apparently the Xehanort saga is over now, so hopefully. I don't know how you keep going after the Xehanort saga. This has been sort of the thing since the start of the game. So it's gonna have to pull some bullshit out of its ass to somehow keep the story going from this point onwards. But hopefully in like a future Kingdom Hearts 4 that'll be an option, or maybe in a future DLC or something that'll be an option. I just want it to be an option. I just want to play through the entire game as Roxas, even if the story, like, I don't even care about the cutscenes being updated. I want the cutscenes to make no fucking sense whatsoever. Just let me go and beat shit up as Roxas. That would just be funny. I don't know, that's sort of my take on it.